On the screen that says live. Hello, we are live. There's no way anyone's on 3 seconds in, but we're live.
And I never know, eh? There could be a chance, that slight chance.
There could be. Maybe my husband. Your girlfriend.
Or parents.
Yes, parents. They would do that too. How are you, Paul?
I'm great. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm glad we're doing this. Like, it's funny. I think I can hear the playback upstairs. Maybe he's hearing me right now, and he can put down the volume. Too funny.
He's curious. People want to dive into this and figure out who you're talking to.
Well, you know what's funny? Like, I have all kinds of crazy dreams and things that I try to do, and my husband has been more supportive of this than anything, and I think it just makes sense to him. You know, he's always telling me, "You're good at talking. Just talk." You know.
You should have been a realtor.
Maybe I could have done that.
Would have worked.
You know what the problem with being a realtor for me is? I couldn't handle the people who walked into a house and said, "I can't buy this. The walls are yellow," or whatever. You know what I mean? I just can't do that.
That's okay. You got to make them see that the walls are not yellow, that they're actually white.
That's and it's good that there are good people doing that work, because
Thank you.
I would get frustrated, right? I'd be like, "Vision people, come on."
You've got to understand there's all walks of life, of course.
Of course, totally.
And we have to embrace each one of them.
Yes.
So sometimes you have to know how and where and when to push them outside that box. It's a very important part.
Yeah, and where you should be, because like, there are a lot of things that I think I could do. I think I could have been a teacher, but I probably would have gotten bored. I think I could have been maybe a real estate agent, but I probably would have been frustrated with people sometimes. So I think sometimes you need to show up where you belong.
That's right.
Don't try and do something you're not.
And you are right where you need to be. Just remember that too. So you're right where you need to be. I think you're following the right path, and it's in your heart. So kudos to you for doing this and stepping out of the box.
Thank you so much. I think we've probably got a few viewers now. I'm going to say a proper hello. This is Juliana. I put my little JT Chena in the corner there because that's the easiest way to Google me if you are looking to actually follow me, which would be amazing. And you are here on the Smart Self live stream. I've got my guest tonight, Paul Calcagno.
Hello there. Thank you. Very Italian.
Very Italian.
Yes.
Literally, Calcagno is heel.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah. That's
digging your heels. Let's get ready.
Digging your heels. Oh my gosh, I love that.
Right?
I kind of wish I had a name like that. My last name, Tricolo, is from, it comes from a Latin word. I don't know the actual root, but there's an English word, trichology, and you're going to laugh. It means the study of hair and scalp.
No way.
I swear to God.
Wow. See that? Somebody found his destiny.
Yeah. So to everyone out there who doesn't know my family, well, they're all hairdressers. Like my father, my mother, my aunts and uncles, like literally everybody in my family is a hairdresser. So it was kind of, well, you know how it is, especially like in small towns or where there was poverty, they name people by nicknames. You know, if it's not a long-standing name, then you get nicknamed. Mm-hmm. So who knows how you got your heel name?
I don't know, but I can tell you, there's a lot of people from the Spanish descent that also have Calcagno. I have a ton of Facebook friends that are Calcagnos, and I guess we've all kind of started to follow each other because we got the same last name.
Yeah,
so
it's curious.
My dad, I was like, "Is Calcagno just in Italy?" He's like, "No, it's all over. It's a popular last name." I said, "That's a popular last name. That's kind of shitty, but it's okay. Here we are. We're gonna dig our heels in and make things work."
Totally. Okay, so a little bit of background for the show. The whole idea of Smart Self is I just want I want everyone in the world, me, my friends, the people I love, my family, and people I don't know, people I never get a chance to meet. I want us all to constantly be trying to improve, constantly just trying to be our best selves. And here we are in a pandemic, and I've been missing people. I've been missing my friends, and sometimes you need an excuse. And I know that's shitty, but sometimes you need an excuse to make time for people. And so I started this off with a friend of mine, and she did my first episode with me, and I've been able to, this is my 6th episode of this show.
Congrats, that's amazing.
Thank you. I do have some other stuff that I do for like my employer and that sort of thing. So I've done other shows, but this is just my 6th. But out of 6, I've been able to meet 3 new friends and bring back old friends that I haven't had a chance to hang out with for a while. So it's kind of a pretty sweet balance for me personally. And you are a new friend.
Yes, and hopefully a long time friend too.
Yeah,
You're gonna make it a long thing.
I think we've had a pre-chat, and I think you and I jive, so I think we'll be cool.
100%. Viewers are gonna be definitely in for a treat.
It's the Italian spiciness, we bring it.
The Sicilian and the Calabrese.
So okay, perfect. So that was one question I had. Okay, actually, I'm gonna go with my first question. How do you know my father?
I actually do business with your father, who was referred to me through another friend of mine, which is a very, very close and dear friend of ours in the family. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't hold it against me that I'm Sicilian and he's Calabrese. Mm-hmm. So he said, Paul, you know what? I got a guy you need to meet. He needs some real estate work done. Be kind to him. He's a dear friend of mine. Mm-hmm. And so because this person who introduced me to your dad is also a very dear friend of ours, mm-hmm. So, I had to have that respect level even higher than I already hold it. And so, mm-hmm. Yeah, so your dad and I met and we started doing a little bit of business together, and mm-hmm. That's it. It was actually, we met because of mortgages, actually. Mm. And then from the mortgage thing, I told him I did real estate, and a few weeks later, he contacted me for real estate purposes, which was great.
Very cool. Very cool. Yes. And then, so that was one thing I did not know. And then the other thing was, where in Italy are you from? Oh, this is cool. Sorry, we got a comment. I'm just going to, you know what? I have ADHD. I forget stuff constantly. So thank you for the comments. I'm just going to thank Grin and Bear Photo Studios for saying hello. Make your moves matter. We appreciate it.
Way to go, Stevie. Thanks for following. See, I sent this out to a few close friends of mine, and I'm glad he jumped on.
That's awesome. Thank you for joining us. And anyone else who would care to honor us with a comment or question, we will embarrass you by putting you on screen. So yeah, the other thing I didn't know was, where in Italy are you from? So you're from Sicily. What's the town?
So it's Idoni. Mm-hmm. And the best way I tell people, because nobody knows where Idoni is, everybody knows where Palermo is.
Sure.
Right? Because Sicily and Palermo, everybody's got that
synonymous.
Same
That's thing.
Right. Yeah. Correct. So we're where the volcanoes are. Very close to where the volcano is. Mm-hmm. And your dad right now, if he's watching, he'd be like, oh my God, he doesn't even know where he's from. He'd be freaking out right now.
I always tell people, my family's from Calabria, the toe of the boot, And I say we're kicking Sicily because, people have to visualize it.
We always get beat up, the Sicilians, for some reason. I don't know what's going on.
But that's why you guys are so tough.
True.
Right?
True.
Like, I love being Italian, and I'm born in Canada. I went to Italy once in my life for my honeymoon, 3 weeks we spent there, which was great. And we didn't go on a tour. We traveled like furbo people, So furbo's cunning in Italian. There isn't a perfect, it's kind of like a street smart word. There's not really a perfect English word for it. But we took public transit, we took train. We didn't do any tours. We did everything ourselves, and it was an adventure.
And it makes it authentic.
Yeah, totally.
And you know what? You get to travel, and you get to really experience a life of a true Italian, mm-hmm. because that's every day. Because in Canada, I'm sure you drive where you're from or where you live. Mm-hmm. I drive. My girlfriend doesn't drive. Mm-hmm. And I learned a whole new world about that with transit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I've been spoiled, super spoiled. And I didn't have to do that. So when her and I started dating, and I started to understand about transit, and oh my God. So you know what? You doing what you did that way, mm-hmm. I think it just gave you even more pleasure of learning about Italy.
Yeah, there were all kinds of little unique experiences that I could never have had. We got into 2 fights as a result of trying to find our way around. One, we were asking for a bus schedule, and this elderly Italian woman working in a store, I believe it was her store, she was not impressed with me. I tried to translate for an English couple in front of me, and she said, "Oh, we have an American here. Maybe you should open an information booth. You know, I've been here 60 years, but you go open an information booth."
Wow.
So that was one. And then one was with the cab driver when he tried to lie to us about fees that didn't exist. And I said, you know, I'm Italian too. And he's like, "Oh yeah." Anyway, we paid the extra fee. You do what you got to do.
Mm-hmm. I bet.
We've got, I think these are other friends of yours, Giovanni Ferretti. Actually, hi, Paul. Do you know him?
Perhaps.
Because I know him. He and I have exchanged some messages. So I'm
Excellent.
like, that's so cool, Giovanni. Thank you for joining us today. And
yes, thank you for joining us. I'm glad.
Yeah, I was just thought for a second, wow, maybe he knows us both. What a small world. And then we've got another question or another comment here. So question. Is it worth it to buy a condo in the city now? If you guys are taking questions, yeah, we're taking questions. We're taking anything and everything.
Well, you know, the condo market at the moment in the downtown core, specifically downtown core, we're talking about. And thank you for asking that question, by the way. It is dying down a little bit due to COVID. The condo market, if you're looking for longevity, I would buy, because now is a great time to get a great deal for the price point or for what's out there. But if you're looking for a quick flip, that is definitely not the area you want to be looking for. But for longevity, condos, you want to stay there 10, 20 years, I would highly recommend buying now, definitely, because there are some great deals out there. I just saw a unit, actually, I think 1,400 square feet for about $1.2 million or something like that. And
in Toronto?
Yeah.
1,400 square feet. That's great.
Yes, with the humongous terrace. And normally that would sell for close to like $1.8, $1.9 million.
Wow.
So there is quite the discount right now happening.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Thanks for that question there, Grind the Bear. Grin
and Bear Photo Studio. Awesome.
I believe that gentleman's name is Steve.
Oh, yeah? Hey there, Steve. Are you going to buy a condo? This is what we want to know. Inquiring minds want to know if you're buying a condo, Steve. It's interesting because, well, first I should ask a question here, and we're kind of diving in organically. So I have an order of things in my head, but I like this. How do a lot of people buy real estate? Well, if you had to say percentage-wise, how many people are buying for longevity or to live in it, or for the quick flip? My
clients, I actually have a 50-50 split, believe it or not. I've got clients who are living in for the 5 to 10 year mark, 7 year mark. And then I have a few clients that are looking for the St. Clair Rogers. They want to buy a detached home with a 40-foot lot that they can knock down and subdivide and turn that into 2 houses.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I got a bit of a mixture, but I will say, actually, no, not a 50%. I would say actually more so on the 70% side, I have the long-term clients.
Okay.
Given also some of my background, which we haven't talked about, which we'll maybe get there.
Yeah, we'll get
there. Because I'm in plumbing, or was in plumbing once upon a time, I do have investors also. So that generates a different type of revenue stream for me as well in the real estate market.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like, honestly, the real estate market has been going strong for so long. I totally get why people put their money into the market buying places. I guess it's probably just my own mentality. I have a hard time with the idea of anything quick. Anything that's quick and easy, I feel like you're giving up something else. I don't know. I feel like, somehow
there's a flip side, yes.
Yeah, we've got another comment here.
Considering the low interest rates at the moment. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, would you advise to lock in now or stay with a variable rate? Great question.
So, yes, I also have a mortgage license. So I would watch. For now, I would just sit tight. If you're currently in a variable, I'm not sure what your rates are. Considering the low interest rates at the moment, would you advise to lock in now or stay with a variable? Stay with a variable for the next 3 to 4 months and then see where the market is going. However, They have been holding Bank of America or Bank of Canada has been holding rates. They haven't increased anything. So I would stay where you are at the moment. Like I said, 3-4 months, and then make a decision. But definitely locking in is not a bad idea because it's money's so cheap. Money's cheap.
Go figure. And you can't predict this stuff. I've also got some buying information, so you should take notes. Grin and Barrett is letting you know that what his parameters are. Always looking. 1,400 square feet's little out of what he's looking for these days. So notes. Okay. So I love that the conversation's already going. Folks, please still bring us your questions, your comments. We are we're ready for you. But let's go back to some initial introduction stuff. So, my dad gave me a call. He wanted to figure out where he could find a link to my show. And we started talking, and then we decided to set up a call. And all I really knew at that point was that my dad was like, oh, this real estate agent that I know, And then when you and I started talking, you told me that you were a plumber for how many years?
Plumber for 20. I owned my own business for 15.
So that is a huge chunk of time to spend in one career. And then such an interesting difference in terms of industries, right? Like you didn't go into general contracting or something. Tell me a little bit about that journey, like the entire, like why, let's start with simple. Did you become a plumber for a specific reason? Was it something that evolved naturally?
Kind of.
Okay.
So I was, you're a young kid, 20 years old or 18 years old, I want to say, flipping through jobs as a young teen, right? 19, turned around. My dad started saying, hey, you're not going to go to school, then you better figure something out here because you're not going to do this. But I said, Pa, I'm going to be a rock star. Because that was my dream. My dream was to be a rock star. And everybody on here that knows me, they all know I played guitar. I've been playing since I was 13, but we won't go there today.
We might, actually.
Oh, well, you never know. I wanted to be Slash. Slash was my hero.
Anyway. Oh, my God. Okay. We have a whole new topic to discuss, okay?
So I thought about it, and a lot of my family was actually in the banquet business, and I had opportunities there as well. But I was always good with my hands. Truth be told, always fixing or breaking, most of the time breaking stuff, but I was always using my hands to do something, whether it was playing guitar, fixing my bicycle, whatever. So I figured, you know what, I'm not really that good at school. I gotta face facts here. I might as well go do something with my hands.
Sure.
One day a guy showed up to do put in a sink. He was a little side job firm, charged like $180, $200. He was there for a half an hour. I said, bingo. I just found the money pot.
Yeah.
So I said, this is a great little thing. So I said, you know what? I said, hey, anybody's hiring? It was actually my cousin is. I rode my bicycle. It took me about half hour, 40 minutes just to get it, because I lived in Woodbridge and I was on the other side of Woodbridge. And I had to go into the industrial part of Woodbridge at 7 and Whitmore area. Okay. And I went to go work there. I rode my bike. The guys were like, this guy came here with his bike. What the hell is that? So I said, man, listen, I want a job. Give me a job.
Yeah.
And so I started. And my journey in plumbing started. And I don't regret it. I loved it. I learned so many different things. I challenged myself. 5 years later, going into the union and doing a bunch of other things, I learned how to read drawings and, you educate yourself, you go to school. I took some night school courses with the union hall, and I just bettered myself all the time. So even though I wasn't really that good at school, I was still in school kind of.
School is kind of, school means different things, right? Like Correct. The entire school system is really made to output professors or teachers, right? Like that's what it's been made for. Right. So if you are a kinetic learner, somebody who learns by doing, somebody who learns with their hands,
that's right.
It's not made for you. And it doesn't mean you couldn't be just as, like you couldn't get the A grades like somebody else. It's just you would have to learn it in a different way. And it wasn't made for that. It was made 100%. For the people who can sit there and do the writing, right? So I have lots of opinions about education, but I don't think there's one better than the other. We cannot operate as a society without all of the types of learners and performers and intelligence. So honest to God, I think we all need to stop trying to be something we're not, and go with what we're good at. And you were good with your hands. That was smart to do, because you could have maybe been a doctor, but you would have been miserable because it would have been not natural. It just wasn't for you. So,
right.
I think we just all need to be ourselves, embrace it. So I love that you did that.
Be yourself. You're absolutely right. You hit it right there. That's right.
So then so you did 5 years. Was there apprenticeship at the time?
It's a 5-year apprenticeship, and then after my apprenticeship, I got my license, moved along, worked for a bunch of different companies in different sectors, because there's residential. There's obviously residential, which will help me now that I'm in real estate, obviously. So getting to know the bones about housing and rentals in the housing market, and knowing about a condo and building condos with plumbing, of course, getting involved in that aspect of things. I did a little bit of industrial, which was hospitals and different types of commercial work with chocolate factories and such.
Cool.
So I touched upon a lot of things, but mostly like the housing, like I said, getting that in order, and with the rental work, of course, and seeing things come to fruition from a drawing to the skeleton of the house, putting everything together, the finishes of the house. So I know how a house gets put together from A to Z. So,
that is so cool.
It prepares you. You don't realize it at the time, because you don't know where your journey is supposed to go to. And so after, if you'd like me to continue here, so then after the plumbing, as I was in the plumbing field, I was starting to notice, hey, my back is starting to hurt. My hands are starting to hurt. I'm getting a little older now. I don't want to hold on to pipe wrenches for the rest of my life. These gadgets had changed my industry. So you hire a kid now who's, I'm now at that time I was in my 30s. Kid would come along, and Apple just started coming out, and the fancy, I don't know what the hell it was at that time. Maybe Kijiji at that time was already online, and things were starting to change. Facebook was already on the iPhones. Kids didn't want to work. The new up and coming kids were not coming to work with a mindset of working. They were coming into the job with the mindset of, hey, I want to make money and be a plumber. There was a lot of hard work to do that.
To get there,
Yes, absolutely.
You don't just arrive. You have to actually go through the journey. We've got another comment here from Giovanni Fenetti. I'm missing that time. My mom back in Italy had to experience the same decision. She had to skip design school because her mom decided to become a professional nurse. My mom has inspired me to pursue a design career abroad. That is so cool. And I think
that's wild.
And I think if I remember correctly, because Giovanni and I have exchanged some messages, so I did take a look quickly at his experience, and I do recall that he is from Italy and he's in Canada. And I believe RGD is a registered graphic designer. So if anyone's looking for a graphic designer, Giovanni, I'm going to send some freelance inquiries your way if anyone's on the prowl for a designer. I did actually take a look, Giovanni, at your portfolio, and you have some nice stuff. Hopefully we'll get a chance to do something together sometime. I want to quickly go back. You talked about how you became a plumber and then you ran your own business for 15 years.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that transition. Was that scary? Did that make sense?
That did not make sense.
Okay.
No.
I love the honesty.
It was just, I was a ball of fire. I was 28 years old, 26 years old. I had just gotten my license shortly after. I had some money put aside. I said, I'm going to do this. It's do or die. And I said, now is definitely the time for me to try this. I didn't have any kids. I wasn't locked down. I had a girlfriend, no house to pay for. I said, what better time than now to try this? So I took the bull by the horns and I did it. And I made a boatload of mistakes.
I honestly thought you were going to brag there and say money, boatload of money.
Fuck. You want to know something? I lost a lot of money.
Yeah, that happens. I hear you.
And you know what? I'm going to tell you this part, and we've touched upon this, you and I. I think the hardest part wasn't about the money. The hardest part was fighting the demon inside of you that said you can or cannot do this.
Yes.
And then the other outside voices that said, mom, dad, brother, sister, uncle, aunt, friend, cousin, what are you, crazy?
Yeah.
Who are you? You're not going to make it. You're going to lose everything you got.
Yep.
And you had to fight those demons. And then you had to fight to go get the work, the fight to do the work, get it done on time, and get paid. Getting paid. Now there's another challenge.
That's so interesting, because in plumbing, and I think it is still this way today for most plumbers, if you're maybe with a really big company, they take money up front, at least some of it. But getting paid after a job is done. When my pipes are leaking, I'll pay anything, right?
Right.
Right? And then once it's done, well, suddenly all my emotions change.
Yes.
Some people management skills there, huh?
It's funny you say that, because originally I started off in all of construction. I did not do any service work. I started the business off with service. As the service grew, I put some money away, and then I started to do construction. And as I started doing construction, I focused and grew the construction side. And when I got up to like 25 people, and I couldn't believe it, because when I wrote the check to the government for their tax money and CPP and EI and all the other crap, and I looked, it was 28 grand. I said to my mom at the time was helping me. I said, are you sure? Like, this can't be right. Anyhow, there's a lot of stories. I could talk all day about that, so I don't want to bore your listeners. I want to be happy. Okay. I want to send out a good message. The truth is, there was a lot of hard work. Totally. And then from the construction, I said, okay, forget it. I went back again, and I revamped the company, and I turned it into a service company. And all I focused on was, then I started to diminish my bad construction clients, and I started to up the residential service clients. And that pool of people was so big, because all it takes is a guy in a truck to become a service guy and go around and do a bunch of service calls. When you're in construction and you got 25 men, you got to have some money behind you, and you got to have some forward thinking, and you have to have some really big clients to keep these people working.
Yes.
Because 25 people come to work every day, 5 days a week, sometimes 6, you've got to have enough work for them. And I was pricing jobs like you would not believe. Wow. So I had to revamp the whole company again. And then I noticed that at the 25 people mark, and then I dropped down to like 10 people. At that mark, I was stuck. And what I mean by that was, I was the medium guy. So the guy's still operating in his house and had a truck and a few guys in that business. He was taking my work. And then the guys at the top who could afford to lower the price because they're buying high volumes of material, they were undercutting my job. And I was like, what am I doing here? Yeah. I kept getting stuck there. Yeah. And then that made me start thinking too, man, there's got to be something different. I'm dedicating 7 days a week of my life to this. And I destroyed a relationship.
Every waking hour, right? Like,
yeah, it was terrible. I didn't cut the grass. The girl I was with at that time, she used to cut the grass. She did everything, man chores and everything. And so a lot of things suffered when I did that.
Yeah, I believe it. I'm a workaholic. I admit it. My poor husband, he met me when I was finishing up my master's degree. And so he didn't really get to see me at my most obsessed. But like years into our marriage, a few years into our marriage, he was like, why are you working so hard? Stop taking on projects. You have a job. You don't need side things happening. But that's just who I am. I'm excited. It's not that I don't need it for the money. In fact, I have a job and I have my own business and I do coaching and stuff. And I just billed a client for April to December 2020 because I have no problem apparently doing the work. I forget about the money.
Wow.
You
gotta hang around your dad a little more.
Yeah, my dad will straighten me up, right?
You better believe he would.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I love the process, and I think my greatest strength and part of the reason why I'm so ambitious and always trying to learn new things and such, I think it comes down to the fact, you mentioned hard work. And I believe that is critical. That is critical. So to think that, I don't care if you graduate the university with an MBA and a PhD and you're 22. I don't care. You still have, without any experience on the job, without learning the humility of getting people coffees, you can't fully appreciate, have compassion. It's not, one generation doesn't understand another. It's that we all have different generational things to overcome. And getting a great education is something that, we all think makes sense, and we should do that. But you can't skip the hard work. And my dad gave me the hard work when I was very young. So, when I was in grade 6, grade 7, after school, I was in the hair salon sweeping, and I was in grade 8, I was, at the cash register. And as a child, because I really was a child, I was so excited to be there because I felt like I was being treated like a grown-up. So I paid attention to the instructions and I did the hard work. And it never occurred to me that it was beneath me because I was lucky to be there. But then, you look at other folks who, like, I remember talking to friends who were mad that their allowance was only like $100 a week or something. And I'm like, go get a job and you can fund whatever you want to do. But they didn't do that. They wouldn't do that. I remember people saying to me, I can't work at Tim Hortons. It's like, but you've never had a job. Why can't you work at Tim Hortons? There's pride in work if you do it with pride. And so then you end up in the scenario where you are at a place where you're an adult, but you haven't yet done that growing. And the humility, there's a quote, and I'm the worst at remembering things, but there's this quote that says something about the person who recognizes he knows nothing has the greatest wisdom. Like, that's the smartest intelligence that you could possibly have. Yeah, I'm probably botching it, but the gist is there. And I think that's something, that humility, you cannot learn without going through the hard work. And so I was really lucky to go through it when I was so young, because it meant when I came out of school, I was hungry, ready to go, give me everything you got. And there was any pride there. I just wanted to prove myself on another level, So yeah, I think that hard work piece is awesome. With business, I think these days, we live in a time where Gary Vaynerchuk is a household name. Have you heard that guy's name?
Yes, I have, many times.
Yes. So I actually been following him for years before anybody knew him, because I kind of just follow like blogs and stuff. I don't want to know something when everybody's doing it. I want to know something when the person who figures it out is like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. We all have to start trying this. Like, I'm curious about that disruptor, but he has almost single-handedly made being an entrepreneur sexy. Like, it was interesting to people who were entrepreneurial at heart, but he made it sexy for everybody.
And why?
Everybody wants a lifestyle. Well, because he loves it.
One. And the other reason why is because he's told the truth.
Yeah.
He openly said, this is hard work. If you want to do this, sell everything you got, go live on a couch somewhere and do it. I've heard him say that to people on Instagram and wherever else I've heard him, Facebook and stuff like that. And he's done it. He's proven it and he's done it.
Yeah.
And he's not a flashy guy. If you really look at the guy, he's not a flashy guy. He's worth millions. But yeah, he knew what hard work was. He started in a wine shop, I believe, with his dad.
His
owns a wine business. And he was kind of, I feel the same way he did. He was like, this is crap. I want something more.
Yeah.
I'm going to go do this.
He wanted something that was his, I think.
More so, yes.
I think it's actually interesting because I think he started, he's well on his own way now, not leaning on his parents at all, obviously. But he recently started a wine club. I think it's called Empathy Wines. So, he could have stayed in the wine business, but I think what he really wanted was he wanted to grow something. You have to love the process.
Juliana, there's this little voice inside you that speaks to you, and a lot of us ignore it. And it says, I want more. Or I'm better than this.
Yes.
Or I can do more. Or we can have this. Or whatever. I said it earlier, you know, all these little demons, all these people talking to you, and then you got to fight you.
Yes.
We all have a purpose, and to be truthful to ourselves is an even bigger challenge, because we're too afraid, most people, to be truthful to ourselves. Now that I'm in the real estate business and I've left the plumbing business behind, I got to tell you, I don't feel more me than I ever have.
Yeah.
Like it was a great business. I loved it. I enjoyed it. It was good. I did well in my eyes.
You learned,
but
earned,
it wasn't
all
me.
of it.
I feel now that I'm in real estate, I feel this is more me. But maybe I needed those lessons to learn to become what I am today.
Yeah, totally.
And learning about a house and learning about a commercial building and talking to people about square footage, understanding all of the process, right? Knowing what an excavator does when he shows up to the property and what he needs to do.
Yeah, how can you be discerning? How can you apply critical thinking if it's the first time you're at the dance? You really do need to have some experience, right? It doesn't matter how smart you are. You can be book smart. You can't take an astrophysicist and say, I'd like you to go do a heart surgery. It doesn't matter how smart you are in your discipline. There's transferable skills, but there's still something about just getting into the trenches and doing the work that I think is really important. And that is the best test to tell you if you are where you should be. Because if you don't love the process, if the idea of doing that for 40 years is fatiguing, then you're probably not in the right place.
Yeah. When I could no longer wake up at certain times of the day anymore, 4:30 in the morning would come very fast. Summer, winter, you name it. That was my time. 6 o'clock at the office. Start. And who was the cleaner? I was the cleaner.
Yes.
I was the guy who did everything in the shop. I ordered, I organized, I did everything. The hours I put in were endless. And my question was exactly what you just said. I asked myself, Paul, are we going to do this for another 10 years of our life? If I put in 10 more years, am I going to be at the same spot, or will I be moving forward? And I kept asking myself this because it was a hard decision. It didn't happen overnight. It happened over a couple of years where I was getting tired of being burnt by clients, where I was unhappy with my staff. And I tried different aspects, tried different ways of making them happy. And I suffered in the end, not being happy. And I just said, there's got to be a better way. I don't see myself doing this for another 10 years. And I had to pull the plug.
So I really appreciate all of the honesty there. And I just want to quickly put the spotlight on something. Yes, owning a business, running a business, starting it from scratch is brutal hard work. It's kind of like having a baby. You don't really know what you're getting yourself into until you've done it, right?
I don't know. I can't tell you that part. I've never had that.
Are you not a parent? Okay.
No.
But I think it's very similar. It's like, you think and you can describe it even, but there's something different about being there and dealing with the agony, the fatigue, all the stuff you have to deal with. And there's one thing that we very rarely talk about in terms of being an entrepreneur. And I don't know if this is the same in every place in the world, but I know that it's the case in Canada. I bet it's the case in the US. If you are a small business owner, there's no vacation time. There's no, you have no entitlements. You know what I mean? Like if you take vacation, you are literally choosing not to be paid at that time. And there might even be a domino effect, because while you were off, not getting quotes or not making sure certain things were up to par, you come back with 2 weeks worth of catch up, of back work, and it slows down your progress. So, don't get me wrong. I'm entrepreneurial. I love having an idea you believe in and growing it. I truly do. But I also think it's really important that we recognize small business owners. You talked about having employees that at times weren't great. And a lot of times it's like, oh, well, he's the boss. He's got the money. And yes and no.
That really irks me. I got to tell you.
Yeah.
That comment does irk me. And don't get me wrong. As I said, I've done okay. I didn't die. It wasn't easy work either. People go into business thinking that, hey, I'm going to open up my own business, whoopee, and I'm going to just kick back and you do this, you do that.
Yeah.
Well, at least for myself, it really didn't turn out that way.
Yeah.
And I think you've got to have a bit of a master plan to be able to delegate certain tasks to different people and people's skills that you hire.
Yes.
You have to be very wise with the hiring process and having job tasks for them.
Absolutely. And in fact, no, agreed. I think finding, you can hire people for their skills. You can say, I need somebody who knows how to do this. And that's great. And that's what you need. But if there isn't alignment there in terms of how much you respect customers, whether or not you have similar organizational values, you have to have common ground, or it doesn't matter if you know how to put, this drain on that, I don't know, mix. I'm going to try and use my plumbing knowledge. Mix PVC with copper, right? Like that's a thing, right? Am I right or no?
Sure, yes.
Okay, well, I don't know. I could totally be wrong. But anyways, it's great that you might know how to do that in theory and to do it with your hands. But if you are somebody nobody wants to work with, if you are somebody that clients don't want to let in their house, there's a bigger picture there.
That's right. There's a wide skill set that you require, well, at least in the field that I was in at that time. And there are great people out there, let me tell you.
For sure.
And like I don't want to
of course
away from the fact that there is a reward at the end of the tunnel. There is. Yeah. There is. When it's done right and you persevere, there's there's very good rewards there.
Absolutely. I think that's true. And they will be more meaningful to you if you're in the right place. So try and be self-aware. We've talked about this. Self-awareness is so powerful, critical. Let's talk a little bit about mortgages and real estate. So how did you make the decision to do that?
So as I said, I was on the fence with plumbing. I went to go install the toilet, believe it or not, for a friend of mine who just opened up a mortgage brokerage. And I was like, hey, how hard is it for me to get my license? He's like, bro, just go. It's easy. Don't even write that. Don't even study. Just answer the question. You'll get it. Like, shit.
Yeah.
I said, can I ask you something? Like, how much money do you make? And when he told me that, I was like, wow. You know how many toilets I have to install for $1,000?
Yeah.
And then I said, holy, okay, let me see here. How can I do it? Okay. Sign me up. I freaking signed up. I got the book. I started studying. I didn't pass the first time. I won't lie to you.
Sure.
But I passed. I got my license. And then I started seeing how difficult it was to get clients. Then I started seeing, wait a minute. This guy just went to TD. I spent a week with him. And he asked me for TD. Oh my God, that guy went to Scotia. And then I said, wait a minute. How much money? Then somebody came to me and said, listen, I want you to go get your real estate license.
Okay.
He was one of my relatives, and he's a builder. And he said, listen, go get your real estate license.
Yeah.
I said, why? I said, I just went to go get my mortgage license. Why would I do that? Just trust me, go and get it. This is not one of the guys you want to say no to that like that. So I said, you know what? What the hell?
Get some information, try it out. See.
I signed up. See, I'm okay. I'm not scared. I'll try it. I'll give it my shot. So I got the book. The book came, it was this thick. I said, I haven't read that even like throughout my whole life of high school. Never mind now. But when you got a taste of something and you start to put things in your mind and you meditate and you think about it. And, at that time I was doing Anthony Robbins as well and Zig Ziglar and Les Brown. And I still do a lot of that stuff. And I said to myself, you know what? Damn it, I'm going to give it a try.
Yeah.
I'm about to lose.
Sure.
So it took me about 8 months.
That's pretty good.
Quite the schooling.
Yeah.
I got some extra help. I went to a class.
Yeah.
With a bunch of people on the weekends. So I had my plumbing business, I was studying, and I was doing mortgages as well. So I was like a racehorse. And then at one point, I wanted to do stocks. I said, okay, I gotta make it. I gotta do this.
Wow.
I'm gonna do it. Whew, let me tell you, run out of sleep pretty fast. So then I said, all right. I was living on my own at the time. I said, okay, I gotta make a decision here. I'm gonna sell. The money I make is gonna allow me to focus on learning.
Yeah.
So my friend who said to me, hey, it's no problem. Just get your mortgage license. Don't worry. So I got that. And then I started seeing the real dollar signs. Here's something they don't tell you in real estate for everybody out there. You don't mesh with everybody.
Sure.
That's one thing. Everybody is a realtor. That's number 2. The other thing that they don't tell you is it's 24/7. I'm almost like back to being a plumber again. But I have to tell you, I would not change it for the world.
Yeah.
I love real estate. I love it so much that, if you were to call me on a Sunday to go snake a drain, my blood would boil. I would come there and be freaking out at you, swearing at you probably. And you didn't even do anything wrong. You call me to go show you a house on a Sunday afternoon and I got to drop everything, which it's happened. I'll skip there and sing and laugh and joke. Because I'll tell you something, chipping concrete, digging with your hands and being in the trenches, and I don't even want to tell you, some of the reviewers might hang up or leave. But let me tell you, doing that and then going to put on a suit and go show real estate, man, what a job. I get paid to talk and give you important information. I absolutely love it.
Yeah. So what's your favorite part of it? Like, it's clear you love it. It's visceral. It's like, it's real. So
what I love most,
yeah,
honestly, I don't know. I hope your viewers believe me when I say this. It's that face I see when I tell them you got this house.
Aww.
It's that smile. I just sold a single mama home in Etobicoke. I won't say her name. And you know what? I got the most beautiful text message.
Aww.
And in mortgages, it's my fault that everybody's broke. So that was something that really steered me away from mortgages. I don't do it as often as I do it.
Yes.
If somebody needs a hand, I'll help out and do what I got to do. But I don't really search for mortgages all that often anymore. Yeah. It does come to me. But for the real estate side, I'm telling you, the message I got from her is priceless.
Yeah.
Thanking me. You have to be patient with people. It's a big expense. Their first home is not going to be that home.
Yeah.
But it's my job, and with the experiences that I have in the plumbing and in the mortgages and all the experiences I have, helps me to guide them to a better choice.
Yeah.
They need to somehow have a visionary beside them so that they can see, or I can see, hey, you know what? If you paint this wall color X, it's going to totally brighten up the room. Hey, you need to get the floors done. You know what? I know a couple of people that can come give you a quote. Don't worry. We can get it done. We can have them the next showing. We'll bring them with us and we'll get a quote for you. Change windows. I have such a roster of people from all my plumbing field, tilers, drywallers, painters, electricians, close people that I know very well, that anything I ask for, they will be willing to help and take care of my client. And that's so important to me.
Yes.
So I love it. I just love it. I don't know. I'm sorry I rambled on a little bit there.
Not at all.
I got to tell you, I love it.
I appreciate that. It wasn't a ramble at all for me anyways. I think the thing that really, that I'm picking up from that is you are empowered. You have all the skills, the soft skills, the hard skills, the experience to be great at this. And we all just want to do what we're great at because we want to succeed.
True.
So it's a mix of things. Like, you can't be great at something on day one, but you also can't get to that sweet spot without putting in that time and having the journey. When you're on the journey, you have no idea where you're going to end up.
That's right.
And you just got to appreciate as you go and just understand, just know there's a reason. This is going to shape tomorrow. You might not see it right away, but this is going to shape tomorrow.
You're so right. And if I didn't learn what I learned in the plumbing field, it wouldn't have helped me in my real estate career. Because there's so many things that I see in a home when I walk in, thankfully, because of my plumbing career and all the years of being in plumbing and rentals and in and out of homes. I can easily pick up certain things for clients, and also understanding certain things too. Like, for example, some realtors, they forget about a hot water tank rental. It's the new buyer that assumes that the hot water tank rental, and people forget about that. Very easily, it's missed. You know, I can look at a furnace and give you an idea of approximately how old it is. Not always. That's not 100%, but I can tell you what kind of furnace it is, what kind of hot water tank it is, the type of floors that are in, if they're hardwood or if they're parquet or if they're engineered flooring, certain things like that. I can see it because I've been around it so much.
Yeah, I have to say, you know, I'm not going to, like, this isn't a complaint about real estate agents, but I have to say one of my biggest frustrations is if I go see a house, I want the person who's showing me the house to know more than I do. And so it doesn't help me, and maybe it helps some people, but it doesn't help me for you to walk into the kitchen and say, here's the kitchen. You know, like if I, you know what I mean?
How about here's the kitchen and the countertop is a cork stone or granite countertop. The faucet is a touchless faucet with the Moen features in it. These are beautiful Wolf appliances. Mind you, wouldn't have a Moen faucet with a Wolf appliance.
And you know,
if you're doing that, you're going to go with a Zucchetti or something like that, something higher end.
Yeah, fair enough. See, so that's the thing. So if I go to see a house, and really I learned this from my husband. I became I've learned to really appreciate expertise. My husband's an engineer. And so he doesn't expect you to know everything. But if you say you're something, he expects you to know that thing, right? So, you know, what did this house previously sell for? When did it sell before? When was it last listed? Or, you know, is this this is a classic one. Is this a load-bearing wall? Can this wall come down? And I am not a technical person at all. I've never done construction. I'm married to a guy who knows stuff. And if you have
that's good. That helps.
That's great. But if you are selling a house with a basement that is unfinished and you can see the joists,
this is true.
There is no reason you shouldn't know which direction they go and be able to say, you know, from what I see, I think this isn't, but you need to confirm that with an engineer or something.
Yes, and you said it perfectly. In fact, I do that because I cannot legally, it's on a legal note, I cannot legally confirm whether or not a wall is load-bearing or not. However, with my past experience, I do say to clients, this may or may not be a load-bearing wall, but it seems to me that it is. But we should call an expert and bring an expert here to verify that this is a load-bearing wall or it is not. Don't go with my word. If you need to put in the conditions, let's do so.
Yeah.
And that's how I deal with that.
Totally. And like we live in the day of, you know, you can just tell Google where you want to go and it'll tell you. But imagine getting into a cab and telling the cab driver an address and he asks you how to get there. You know, like that's not, you know what I mean? It's just, like I'm a very caring, compassionate person. Like I truly, truly am. I'm very forgiving. I very rarely push people out of my life, even when I should. But I do get frustrated. If you don't take pride in your work, don't do it. Do something else, you know, because I don't need you to waste my time. I work really, really hard. So when I'm spending time doing something else, that's intentional time for me. I don't want to have to do your job for you. I don't want to have to come back 3 times and hope that the guy who happens to know or the girl who happens to know where that product is I'm looking for is on that shift. Like I just, you know, be your best self at anything you do. It's more fun that way anyway. You know?
And you know, sometimes being a business owner and having multiple people, it's hard to understand that because you're thinking yourself, man, I would have never done that. Why would you go and do that now?
Yeah.
You know, like, let me give you an example. Putting in a kitchen sink, let's say, and the faucet is loose. It takes like a second to check if you've got it straight or it's tightened enough. You go back underneath the sink and you tighten it again. It's not hard.
Yes.
You have no idea how many times I got a complaint. Well, not a lot, but I did get complaints about, my faucet is crooked.
Yeah.
Or it's loose.
It's rocks.
Yeah. I'm like, but didn't you check? Yeah, I check. Well, okay, let's go see. I'll come with you. Let's go see. And you get there and the thing's like wobbling, like you're saying. Yeah. I'm like, well, something went wrong here. What happened? And you just, it frustrates you because you and I think are very much the same, that we put our heart into things that we do. And we sometimes expect others to do the same. Like you said this earlier. Well, he's got the money. He's the owner. He can deal with it.
Yeah.
And that's a very poor mentality. And I just really quickly going to say this to you. I read a quick little note about a man who was quite wealthy and asked a man to build him a house. And he said, here's your budget. The man was excited and started building this house for him. Well, he gave him a budget. And so the guy said, you know, I'm going to make some extra money and I'm going to cheap out on the concrete. I'm going to cheap out on the wood. I'm going to cheap out on the insulation. I'm going to cheap out on the shingles. I'm going to cheap out on the paint. Guess what? The end, the job was done. The homeowner was so wealthy, he didn't need the house. He gave the house to the guy who built it. He said, here you go. This house is made for you. You built it. It's sure you can have it. There's the moral of the story.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Yeah. That I love that on so many levels. But it's just a really great example. You know, there's the golden rule they teach my son at school. You know, treat others as you want to be treated.
Correct.
And my son, he's very intelligent, but he also likes to challenge ideas. And he says, well, if that's true, then if you hit me, that means you want to be hit, you know? But it doesn't work that way. It really is. So I actually tried to explain it to him in terms, is it the law of thermodynamics? I think the one that it says, you know, energy isn't created or destroyed. It just passes from one thing to another. And whatever energy you exert, you will get back equally. And so if you slap, someone's going to slap you. It might not be that person, but you're getting slapped. So whatever you're putting out into the world, you're getting back.
You get it back. That's right.
You know? So yeah, that's my version of that's my pseudo scientific version of the golden rule, because the golden rule doesn't make sense in my house. My son likes to challenge that. Okay, I got to talk with you about music. So you started playing guitar at what age? 14?
I started playing guitar at probably 5.
Oh, wow.
I have a picture of myself with a sombrero. Maybe you might be even lucky. I'm just flipping through my phone really quickly here. I know where it is, I believe. I always had a passion and a love for music. My sister started that. I wish she was watching this right now so she can hear me even say that. We used to sing along to Totocatuño or The Cars or all kinds of fun, different things. And I really liked music a lot. It was always a part of my life.
I'm gonna
Are you ready for this?
Yeah, but let me do a quick shout out to the crowd. Guys, let us know in the comments if you are a musician, if you play any instruments, and what you're into. What's the music that you're in love with? Let us know. Okay, I want to see the sombrero.
So that was me.
Adorable.
Hey?
Adorable.
I was way better looking back then.
Well, we all are better looking back then. You're a good looking man, though. You don't need to worry about it.
Thank you. You're too kind. So yeah, music, when I was in, so then I found the guitar later on. So you see, I don't even remember that. First and foremost, I don't remember that picture.
Sure.
I was just, how old? What could I have been? 6, 7?
Uh-huh.
I remember those sombreros. My parents had them forever.
Yeah.
That's like a little ukulele, and I was always with the guitar, like singing along, being a little freaky kid, I guess.
Yeah.
So I don't remember that because my mom always had that picture lying around, and that's the only way I knew of that picture.
Mm-hmm.
Now, time goes on. My parents sold their house in Brampton. We moved in with my grandparents. I found an acoustic guitar underneath my Uncle Phil's bed.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would sneak it and play it.
Oh.
And then before he came home, I would put it back and hide it underneath because I said I didn't want to get in trouble.
Yeah.
Thankfully, my Uncle Phil was the most giving individual. He didn't care. You could take, as long as you asked, you would 99.9%, he will give it to you with all his heart.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess one day I said, can I have this?
Mm-hmm.
He said, yeah, take it. I don't play it. Take it. So I ended up playing it.
Yeah.
I never put that thing down. Fast forward a few more years, I end up in a rock band. I was in grade 8 and illegally getting into clubs. And all my band members were all in like grade 10, grade 11, grade 12.
Yes.
So nobody knew who the hell is this guy Paul? Like, who did he is he? Because I was in elementary school. I was a nobody.
Oh my God. I love it.
So David said, yeah, we have a band. So there, because I'm 42, so I don't know.
I'm 40.
Okay, so you know the Pearl Jam and maybe Metallica, Guns N' Roses, and I think you were still part of some of that.
I'll explain why in a second, but yeah, keep going.
So listen, back then there were the rock band, the Alma Combo, all these other rock places that we used to go to. We used to play live at Battle of the Bands.
Yeah, totally.
And so I used to go and play on stage, and let me tell you, these fat sausage fingers, they could wail back then on the guitar. And I still have one of my demos that I made with my band. And like I said, I was in grade like 8, and they were all grade 10, 11. They were all older than me. And I found one of my friends introduced me to the band. He was I used to take music lessons. That was the one thing I could never, like, my parents, you can hit me as much as you wanted to, but the minute they said, hey, we're gonna take the guitar away, it was like, okay, what do you want me to do? I was like getting ready.
Yeah, I hear you.
That.
That's like my son's Xbox controller. I don't have to touch the Xbox. If I take the controller,
he knows it's game over.
He's all like, whatever you need, mommy. He's so good. Yeah, so I get that very much. And so, do you have a favorite band? Like, what do you like to play the most?
I kind of write my own stuff.
Nice.
I like to dabble with that. I don't know. It's
okay.
I really love Bruce Springsteen. He's one of my favorite rock bands, or my favorite artist.
Okay.
But so is Stevie Ray Vaughan. It's such a hard.
Yeah.
This before COVID, I guess 2019, I went to go see a heavy metal band called Volbeat, and I went by myself. Nobody wanted. They're like, who wants to see Volbeat? So I took videos and pictures of myself there by myself.
Oh, I love it.
And that's how much I love the band, and I just wanted to hear them. And
were they at Rockpile?
They were at no, they were at Molson Amphitheater, or what was Molson Amphitheater.
So that's much bigger than Rockpile. Yeah, that's awesome.
They're from Denmark, actually. They're a really good band.
Very cool.
And I just bought a guitar now that was manufactured by David Bowie's guitarist.
Cool.
You don't know who David Bowie is, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
So now that I have the money to spend on boutique stuff, I don't play half as much as I used to. My parents used to scream to get me out of the basement from playing guitar all the time. It truly is. Yeah, I don't think I could. My girlfriend says, "You're not on Facebook. You're not on Instagram. You're on Facebook Marketplace or Kijiji looking for guitars." Guitars.
You okay? So I've got to introduce this connection here, and I wouldn't be surprised if you and my husband have exchanged messages on Facebook Marketplace. So my husband has been playing guitar since he was a young teen, and he's really, really good. And I always tease him, and I'm going to tease you too, because in the same time, Rain Maida, Our Lady Peace?
Yeah.
Italian guy. His
Yeah.
father told him not to play guitar. He would go nowhere.
Yeah.
You guys.
They were a great band.
They were a great band. You guys should have pushed harder.
Shit.
But then I wouldn't be
my dad scared me, man.
Yeah.
I said, he goes, hey, you're going to starve. You're going to go play guitar. What guitar are you going to play?
Yeah.
I said, fuck.
Yeah.
He's right, man. I didn't want to. I was in the banquet business. I saw my family all working Friday, Saturday, Sundays. Sundays. And I was a waiter for a long time. That helped me go through school. And that was my side job kind of deal. And and again, here's if you listeners can listen, here's something I need to tell you. I was a waiter in a banquet hall setting, and I used to get tips. Serving people in a who gives a guy a tip in a banquet hall?
That's pretty rare.
I used to get people paying me. Hey, that guy's really good. Hey, I got to introduce you to my dog. No, it's okay. I'm okay. I like having my fun. I'm good. Thank you very much. But she's beautiful. Hey, I got to tell you, she's beautiful. But anyway.
Everyone's a great salesperson for their kids,
But you know what? I never realized it. I loved dealing with people.
Yes.
I can't tell you how many other jobs that I got offers for from that environment.
Yeah.
Being in the banquet halls as a server.
Yes.
It was crazy.
I know what you mean. I have a pretty crazy story. I knew this woman for a number of years. I did her nails at my dad's hair salon for years. I did her nails, and I never met her husband, but I knew he was in investing. And he and I met at a funeral, and we spent about 20 minutes talking. And I think it was 2 weeks after that funeral, I got a call, and he said, I wish my kids were interested in taking over my book of business, but they're not. And I'd love if I could, if you're interested, I'd love to mentor you. So I did actually go and do some work there for a few months. I did some marketing, and it wasn't the fit for me. But go figure that you get a job interview out of a funeral. It comes down to you bring your best self, and you are going to shine. One of my good friends from, growing up, from high school, university, she's a lawyer. She's one of the senior people in a law firm that is owned by one of her customers when she was a waitress.
Wow.
She knew her for years. And when she said, when she found out, I heard you're going to law school, she said, okay, well, you tell me when you're ready to do your summer I can't remember what it's called right now, but yeah, something like that. There's a name for it, but anyway, I'm drawing a blank right now. And she's never worked anywhere else. Like, you can tell yourself that you're in a go nowhere job, but it's go nowhere if you say you're going nowhere.
That's right.
So, make your own luck, and make your own luck by enjoying the moment. Because if you are always focused on 5 years from now, then you'll never be happy. Because when you hit 5 years from now, you're still looking at 5 years from now. You kind of have to be in that moment. Articling, thank you, articling. That's the position when you're trying to go from law school to becoming an associate. Thank you. See, we got great people watching us. I hope others are. You're not drinking anything. I hope others are having whatever their Friday night relaxation is. Maybe you just want to talk, but if you want a drink or a tea or a coffee or a warm blanket, I hope everyone's just enjoying.
There's some shy people out there, and Steve, who just left that comment, he is an amazing photographer. So if anybody needs a photographer, if anybody needs anything, he does all my videos for Instagram.
Nice.
He does the Facebook videos. He's a great marketer. He's awesome. If anybody needs a guy like that, and he does family shoots as well.
Cool.
The kids and special events and whatnot. So he's
I'm
great.
gonna try. Well, I'm just gonna write it down here so I have a quick reference. But I'm gonna try and reach out sometime. I always have like if I have a great person to do something, I don't want to do it myself. I work in marketing. I don't want to go into the video editing software. I don't want to, but I'm one of those idiots. If I don't have somebody I trust, then it'll probably take me as long to figure out how to do it myself. Then it'll take me to find somebody, and then there's no guarantee that that person's going to be good. So I always appreciate a referral. So Grin and Bear It is going to have to grin and bear me, maybe. There we go. All right. So the music thing, I'm going to embarrass my husband. I really hope he's watching right now. I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to play the video or anything like that, but I am going to just show a little bit of the, I just got, oh, here, I got to actually put it on so I just recorded him playing this the other day. Like 2 days ago.
He's got a fine V2.
It's a flying V. What is it? The Randy Rhoads guitar?
Yeah, Randy Rhoads.
Yeah, I bought it for our 10th year anniversary.
And he's got a Stevie Ray Vaughan guitar too.
Yeah, he's gonna be mad at me for showing that.
Tell him I want to jam. When COVID's over, I want to jam.
Totally. So for our 1st year anniversary, I bought him a drum kit because he didn't have any drums, and then I wanted to buy him a guitar. Honestly, it's funny. I dated someone for 8 years. And he's an awesome guy. Like I still to this day love him. He's an amazing person, but he wasn't my person,
Right.
And I met my husband, and 6 months into dating, I knew
I told him you wanted to marry him.
I wanted to propose. I wanted to buy a guitar, and I wanted to propose with a guitar. And my girlfriend.
That doesn't shock me, by the way.
No.
No. You're one of those women that just goes right for what you want.
Mm-hmm. Well,
and good for you.
Yeah. Well,
you see a good thing, you go after it.
It doesn't. And so I ended up not doing that. My friend gave me a really hard time, and he proposed 6 months later. And the really funny thing is, the day before he proposed, I gave him shit. Like, I was like, where is this going? You're so cryptic. I don't know how you feel. Like I had every critique possible about him, and he was just, I remember him looking at me at one point, shaking his head very calmly saying, if you only knew, and the next day, like he had the ring and everything. The next day I was proposed to. So
did you end up getting him that guitar?
Took 10 years before he would let me buy him one, because he said ultimately.
From a musician, buying a guitar for a guy is a little
personal.
bit. Yeah, because the guitar, I'm sure he will tell you, it doesn't matter the color, the flavor for you. But for me or for us musicians, the guitar talks. It's a connection. I hate to say talks to you because I might sound a little loony.
No, I get it.
There's a feeling you get. And Giovanni, who's a designer, a graphic designer, he would understand when he does his art, there is an art, there is a madness within himself that he releases on that paper. There's a reason why he does that.
Yeah.
I got another guy watching, his name is Giorgio. And he taught me, oh boy, I have to say this to you, he taught me so much about plumbing.
Yeah.
That guy is a plumbing genius. And nowadays him and I are becoming stock geniuses together.
Oh, I love
We've been friends. Well, I've been in plumbing for 20 years. I'm 42. We've been friends for a little bit more than that, actually. But for 20 years. And he sent me a picture of me when I was like 21 years old. I was doing a job with him. He would always take me with him. And having mentors, I didn't say this earlier, but I want to say this. Having a mentor in whatever industry you're in is really important.
Yeah.
Having that guy you can lean on or trust, especially trust. And Georgie was the guy that I always freaking trusted. I can always call. He never gave me the news I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
He gave me the news I needed to hear. And he always would tell me, hey, this is the right way to do it. Don't cut the corners. It's going to bite you in the ass. Do it like this.
Totally.
And you know what? I learned from that over time. Now when he tells me, I just accept it. And I say, okay, I have the choice, this or that. And 90% of the time I go with him. But anyhow. we're doing our thing. Bless you, whoever did.
I love it. I from our original conversation, I was trying to think of, what do I call this episode? What do I call the live stream today? And I don't know if you saw this, but I landed on the title, The Other Side of Fear.
That's right.
So tell me about that, because that wasn't something I made up. You said that to me.
On the other side of fear. Oh man, how did I say that to you?
I have it written down if you can't remember.
Yes, please say. I believe it goes somewhere along the lines of, on the other side of, it's by Will Smith, but on the other side of fear is the true person that lies within you. Something like that, I think.
Yeah, I think I haven't pulled it up fully, but yeah, I think it was something like that. It was, on the other side of fear is the better part of you, or something to that effect. That's
right. On the other side of fear is a better part of you. On the other side of fear is, you know what? Just jump. If it's inside you, I want to tell this to your viewers. If it's inside you for a reason. You didn't make that up.
Yes.
The universe came to you and put it inside your heart for a reason. It's there to motivate you, to push you. I went into plumbing. I never thought I would leave plumbing if you told me 10 years ago you're going to become a realtor, I would not believe you. I would, you crazy. I look like a bloody plumber. I'm not going to be a plumber. I'm not going to be anything. I had my hard hat on. I would walk around the job site. I knew exactly what I needed to do, and leave me the hell alone. Let me just go to work.
Sure.
And if you told me I was going to be a realtor, I wouldn't believe you. But let me tell you, something inside of me clicked. It switched. Something happened somewhere.
Yeah.
My life was destined to be more. That's just the feeling I had. I wanted to share my experience, and I'm so grateful, by the way. Thank you for having me on your.
Oh, my pleasure.
I appreciate it. Number 6 is a great number. Divided by 2 is 3. 3 is my actual date number. So anyway, never mind. We'll get into that another day.
Okay, cool.
But I thank you for having me here. And the biggest message here for your viewers is there's a better. Fear is just there to stop you, obviously. But let me tell you, when you open up those pearly gates on the other side of fear, there is a new world. You think I wasn't scared? How am I going to make money? I was making X amount of dollars in plumbing. How am I going to make that now in real estate? Nobody knows me. I don't even know how to sign a contract for that fact. But you know what? You learn. You take the time, you learn, you ask, you try, you fail, you get up, you try again, you fail, you get up, you try again. You don't take no for an answer. You take yes for the answer. No means next opportunity. That's it. Doesn't mean no.
For sure.
Try and try. So if there's something out there somebody wants to do, if I get to one person in this episode, I'm happy. I've done my job. But if there's one person out there that wants to try something new, that is thinking about it, and you're on the fence, do it. Just step over. Don't tell nobody. Don't even tell your best friend, because that's the biggest mistake you're going to make. Just fuzzing do it. Get up and go do it. That's all. Because something spectacular there.
It's amazing. That is the advice from like every expert. Seth Godin is like the godfather of marketing. He's been writing a daily blog post. Like, he's never skipped a day for like 10 years. It's insane. And one of his biggest messages, he says it differently. He says, ship. You need to ship your product. You need to ship your idea. You can't constantly just pick at it and make it perfect and never move it. You got to ship it. Gary Vaynerchuk says, just put it out there. Put yourself out there. Just do it every single day. It'll start to feel natural if it's not right, the first time. We need movement in order to grow. You need momentum. And my take on the fear thing that I want to add, because I agree with you. And in case this helps somebody see it in another way, you cannot grow if you are comfortable. It just cannot happen. No. It means you are in your skill set. You are in your comfort zone. There's nothing to learn.
That's right.
And the military, U.S. military, I think this is where this is most commonly used. There is a saying that pain is weakness leaving the body. And in my opinion, fear is your body, your mind, your soul raising a flag and saying, oh, learning opportunity. You don't know how to do this. You know, whatever your version is, whether it's, you know, you smacking yourself on the head and say, come on, go, take the step. Or if it's, you know, your kind mother's voice saying, you can do it. That's what fear is. Fear is the flag. And it's okay to be afraid. Feel it. And then
That's right.
try it anyway.
No one's there to hurt you.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's not to say you won't get hurt. You might get hurt, but that's part of the process.
Right.
You know?
No, I mean physically hurt you.
Yeah.
You're not gonna physically get hurt here.
Mm-hmm.
You might lose a few bucks.
Mm-hmm.
You might get down about it, but you never know. You might end up making a boatload of money too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not always about the money. You want to have the freedom. You
Money
want
is validation, right?
Say that again.
Money is validation. Money is
Correct.
you know, validation proof, because it might not be proof. You could be a completely unethical person who's making gazillions of dollars, but money traditionally is validation that what you're doing is good. So that's why people seek it.
Money is a tool in my eyes to have certain things in life.
Yeah.
Don't make it the end all be all. Don't chase the money. The money will come.
Yes.
Do what you love. And then I'm dealing with my nephew who's a young man, finished school. He still doesn't know what he wants to do. Bouncing around from some jobs. I love him to death, but now I'm giving him a little bit of tough love.
Send him to me because he doesn't know me. So it's easier for him to hear stuff from me.
I will send him to you.
Yeah, I'll hear him out and I'll be like, all right, well, this sounds like it makes sense. And this does not. So,
right.
Yeah.
So I try to think back at that time for myself.
Sure.
But at 22, I was already second or close to a third year apprentice. Started doing plumbing, and I knew where my path. Well, that was my path in my eyes,
yes.
right? They're so lost and confused.
And I actually think that's all, like, as a collective, I think that's all of our responsibilities. Like, you know, you want to give what you didn't have to the people you love, but as a result of that, you might be robbing them of the opportunities to learn and grow. And I don't think that a 20-year-old, a 25-year-old, a 30-year-old who didn't know what I knew at a younger age isn't a good person. But I do think we have a responsibility to the people coming after us to put our own comfort aside, because that's the thing that's confusing, right? Kids think that as a mom, if I take away the Xbox, that I'm trying to hurt him. He doesn't have a clue that I want to give it to him. He doesn't understand that I want him to have it. I want him to have the joy. I want him to have the pleasure. And it pains me to see him cry that I'm taking it away. You know, I'm doing it in spite of my own pain, because at that moment I managed to see clearly enough to see that is actually hurting him in that moment. I'm not saying he can't have it at all, but in that moment, right? And the thing is, you know, one thing I've worked in learning, I've worked in marketing, communication and persuasion, influence, behavior change. That's really like my passion. And I can tell you, I've created a lot of learning programs. I've taught a lot of courses. No one ever learned anything by being told something.
I agree.
You know, it doesn't matter.
The hard way.
Yeah. And if it's theory, you still have to try it out and see if you can break the theory before you believe it, before you fully internalize it. And I think we're robbing future generations of the opportunity to solve problems, because technology is solving problems. We're solving problems for each other. And it just means you're going to solve them later in life. So.
But I also think today's society is also helping that confusion, right? Because they're so caught up on money. And I tried to explain this to my nephew. I say, listen, do what you love to do.
Yeah.
If you want to cut meat for a living and that's what you want to do, then be the best at doing that.
And the thing is, if you are the best at doing that, you will be paid a fortune. It's going to take as much time for you to be the best well-known heart surgeon or the best well-known butcher. It's going to take the same amount of time. So do what you love. Once you get there, like I remember one thing that I was great at in my dad's hair salon, and I really enjoyed doing, is eyebrows, women's eyebrows or men's eyebrows, but shaping them, not just like, cleaning up a unibrow. I liked shaping them, and I was really good at it. And I had this vision that I just wanted to have just something I called a brow bar. And that's all I wanted to do. And I didn't want you to come in and expect to be done in 5 minutes and out, and you had like 2 sticks. I wanted to have clients come in and spend half an hour, 45 minutes if that's what was necessary. And at the time I thought, you know what, if I make this the art that I feel it is, somebody could pay me $60 to do their eyebrows in half an hour. And my father, bless his heart, said, you're nuts. That's a $10 thing, And now there are brow bars, and there are eyelash bars, and there are people who are doing these individual specific services for extreme premium prices, and they have waiting lists. You can be the best butcher if you 100%. Love it,
And that's why I love real estate, because I know I can be the best. I will be the best. And in my own little world, I'll be the best.
Yes.
I don't need to be the best to tell everybody I'm the best. Yeah. I'll be the best in my own little world. I'd rather have a client for today, tomorrow, the next day, and 20 years from now. I don't need to. I'm really not thinking about the money. I'm thinking about how much fun I have.
Yes.
I get to meet and talk to people, and guess what? I get paid for it.
Yeah.
How hard is that?
Yeah, that's amazing, right? It's like
exactly.
It's like
I may have influenced a few people on your thing here now to become realtors, and that's okay. I'll mentor you, no problem. Come on over.
Hit them up on LinkedIn. If you're feeling stuck where you are, if you are curious about real estate, Paul Calcaño is your guy. Hit him up on LinkedIn. He's there and looking for connections.
If you're just stuck, period.
Yeah.
Give me a call.
I love it.
Mentor somebody. So one last thing.
Yeah, I am.
So I mentioned stocks earlier.
Yeah.
And we were talking a little bit about real estate, mortgages, stocks, and you seem to be one that juggles quite a few plates as well.
Yeah, I'm interested in things.
Yes. So I took a few courses on stocks. So see, I was told at one point in my life that you're no good at school. Maybe you should get a trade. And I was just like brushed off, like just go get a trade. Don't worry. You'll make some money with your hands and your body. Your body takes a bloody toll. Eh? It gets beat up quite a bit doing a trade. And I have the utmost respect for those who work in the fields, in the trades, in construction, anywhere. I really got to tell you, it's not that easy.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine because like I'm a pretty weak person, but I try and work out and I can't stay on my knees for 20 minutes, Yeah,
try a whole day.
Yeah. On a roof, on an angle like this, or, I cannot imagine. I know that I don't even know how painful that can be.
It is.
You and I are aligned.
Yes. So, sorry, I got a little distracted here.
That's okay. It's all good. It's all good, man. What's going on for the rest of the night or the weekend? I know we're all on lockdown. There's only so much we can do. What are you looking forward to?
I want to go skating if it's possible. We had to create here in Toronto. We had to create a client number.
Yes.
So Juliana and I, not you, Juliana, Juliana.
It's a great name.
Isn't it? It is. Yeah. I have to say it is a wonderful name. And she is so wonderful. And something else people should know about too is having, and if you don't have the right partner, that's okay too, but you need to share a vision with someone in your circle that will be that other good voice, the one that says you can do it, the one that says, hey, keep trying. And Juliana for me is that person. I'm very lucky. She
Oh,
pushes me. She, in a very good way. You know, I told you I was going to start talking to you about stocks, and I took a stock course. And there are days where I'm like, oh my God, what was I thinking? Why did I do that? And there are some days where I go, hey, honey, you know what? It was a good
yeah.
day. Yeah. And anyway, so, but you gotta have somebody through your ups and downs.
Hmm.
That point. So now that's done. I'll go back to the stocks and I'll answer your question. So
Sure.
skating, we've been wanting to go skating, and in Toronto, Nathan Phillips Square would be the closest one for us, but you need to book about a week in advance,
Mhm.
and that was during Christmas time. So I'm hoping in the next couple of days we can get a session booked in for us to go skating outside.
Sure. Yeah, that's awesome.
And
I
movies. What
in
else?
movies. Yeah.
I bake the cake.
Oh, that's awesome. Are you a chef?
Well, no, I'm not a chef, but I try.
Yeah,
I
that's
do
okay.
put effort in.
Yeah. Honestly, that's all that matters. I watched this movie, I don't know what the title was. It had subtitles. I think it was Spanish, but I don't know if it was like a specific version of Spanish. I don't know. And it was all about this. There was obviously a big story there, but there was this theme about when you put love into something, it's beautiful, it grows and it nourishes. And throughout the whole movie, there's this kitchen full of women that are cooking wonderful things for this town and for this I guess it was sort of like a, what do you call it? Not a vineyard, a villa. And there's one point where the women are brokenhearted and they still do their job and they cook, and everyone feels sick. And it just, I love that symbolism, because something as mundane as eating, like the people who put food in our bellies, the people who put in their time and their love, and share a meal with us. It's the simplest. It's one of the simplest things, but it really is special. So.
And people need to remember to enjoy the simple things. I can bring my girlfriend one flower
Mhm.
and a scratch and win ticket, and she would be happy for weeks.
Yes.
I can bring her a scratch and win ticket. She will
Hmm.
be happy for weeks. I
Hmm.
can bring her or cook her dinner, and she will be happy. And
Yeah.
we've forgotten, because we've been so eluded by it, all these social media things
The Bachelor.
that are not realistic. And
Hmm.
people have gotten confused with what's real.
Yeah.
You know what? I treat her the way I want to be treated. I make dinners too once in a blue moon. They're not the greatest, but I make them. I try.
Hmm.
I bring her flowers unexpectedly. It doesn't have to be my anniversary or whatever.
Yeah.
I do
Totally.
that because I want to do it. Nobody
Hmm.
tells me, I want to.
Hmm.
She treats me too. She treats me well as well, right?
Hmm.
It's a two-way street.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that that's true in romantic relationships and non-romantic relationships.
Yes.
If you treat others the way you want to be treated, it goes a long way. And I have to say, like, early in a relationship, it's easy to not take someone for granted, but be angry that someone is not meeting your expectations. The
Mhm.
beauty of a very long-term relationship, at least for me, is being able to finally just let go of, I'm not going to get flowers. I'm just not going to get flowers. My husband is not a flowers guy. But he, if it's dinner time and I haven't had a chance to touch, look at anything, think about dinner, I can go to my dinner table and there's food there. And he's cooked it and he's put his heart into it. He is super reliable. He always makes me laugh, and I appreciate that so much. And then another example, my best friend, who's also a guy, which is not that big of a deal, but it's unconventional for some. Um, the odd time, odd time. I remember one time I was at work. I told him I was having a tough week, and the next day I got one cupcake delivered. Like,
oh, that's nice.
How adorable is that?
It's the little things, Juliana.
Yeah, and it's not about him. It's about, he's like, I know she's got a sweet tooth. I know what'll make her smile this afternoon. And it wasn't even the cupcake. It was the fact that he thought of doing that. So, yeah, just be you and do it wholeheartedly every time. It pays off.
It does. It absolutely does.
All right, so you and I are going to have to do, I don't know, hopefully the COVID will be over sometime and we'll do drinks in the backyard or something. I don't know.
Sounds great.
But it should be fun. And we'll bring Mr. Vincenzo along.
Wonderful.
Because he is the life of every party.
Is he
Anytime
really?
I've had, oh my gosh, honestly, yeah. I had a party when I was 18. And it was like the highlight of my high school life where I was able to have friends over, guys and girls. Like, it was a big deal. And they were going to be out for most of the night, but I knew they were coming home at one point. And honest to God, the party started when my parents got home.
Really?
I did not expect it. My dad everybody loved him. He was there karaoke singing, handing out drinks he shouldn't be handing out. he was and is the center of attention at a lot of functions.
Good for him. You know what? Your dad seems to love life.
Yeah.
And you know what makes him so special is that he loves the little things.
Yeah.
And I noticed this, and I've only known him a short time, but I've noticed this with him, like having a coffee with him. You know, like he loves that. I brought him a bottle of olive oil.
Yeah.
Like I don't have to, and it's not a big thing really. It's just, the smallest little gestures, and your mom as well. I can't just say your dad.
Yeah, my mom's
yes, she is, and they appreciate the little things, and that's where I think, I hate to say us younger generation, we've forgotten that.
Yeah.
And because, like I said, going back, we've been so eluded by the phones that and this also boils down to another point, buy a house you can afford. Be realistic. I want to sell you a $3 million house. Of course, I'm going to make more money. But if you can't afford it, the last thing I want to hear is, hey, I got to sell my house. Why? I can't make the mortgage payment.
Yeah.
We need to be realistic. Stop keeping up with the Joneses. You don't need that.
Yeah.
You need to be realistic with, hey, I have X and I can do X.
Yeah.
That's it. And if there's a little hiccup, X is still going to be okay.
Totally. Totally.
And this is why I learned how to do stocks. Because of that fact, I've created, like you, multiple streams of income. I have the real estate. I've got the mortgages, which I do a little bit of it, not too much. And I've got the stocks, which I'm quite active in it. And this is how I keep myself going.
Yes.
And I think people need to do or learn. And again, that in order for them to learn, they got to jump off the other side of fear to learn that.
Yeah, totally. I love it. I love your energy. Thank you for all of your little sound bites that are helpful. And they're like good mantras, like just go back to the basics. Keep those 3 to 5 word mantras on your mirror in your washroom and stay grounded,
Grounded. It's a good thing. Julia, I really, really, really appreciate you having me here. You have no idea how much it means to me. I thank you. I can't wait for us to do another one, even more exciting one. We'll talk about some other stuff, a little bit more direct, maybe.
Sure. We have, I'm sure, lots of things that we can talk about. I already have things I would love to go on about, but I also want to be reasonable. so we will do this.
Yes, it's been an hour and a half, and I want to respect your viewers, and they're probably like, okay, is this going to be over yet? So I don't want to bore anybody either.
It was a good time.
It was a great time. Thank you, and I thank all of your viewers for coming and watching and spending their hour and a half with us. I appreciate it, and I'm sure you do too.
Absolutely.
Thank you, everybody, and I can't wait to talk to your dad. You know what you said? He's going to give me crap. For sure.
He might poke at you. Okay. Tell me, for anybody who's listening, whoever watches this later on, if anybody wants to get a hold of you, to find you, where should they go?
You can look on LinkedIn or Instagram, Your Move Matters. And to what you said earlier, if anybody's feeling stuck, needs some coaching, some motivational stuff, whatever, pick up the phone. I always answer. Send me a direct message anywhere. And let's just have a quick chit chat. I may not be able to talk to you right then and there, but I will definitely put you on my list and get back to you as soon as I can.
I love it.
Your move matters, and it matters for a reason. And I put that there for a reason. Your move does matter. It matters to me.
I love it. Thank
Right?
you so much for your time. Everyone who tuned in tonight, whether you stayed right till the end or stayed a few moments with us, I work in marketing. I know how valuable your attention is. I'm grateful that you gave us your time today. Thank you for being part of my community. I hope that this Smart Self Initiative is something that is feeding your soul, giving you something, entertaining you on a boring night when, during lockdown or whatever you're experiencing. And please let me know. Message me anytime. You can find me online, jtchina.com. You can find me on LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, pretty much everywhere. Pinterest, but don't message me on Pinterest unless you want to see some bathroom renovations. I want to hear from you. I want to know what you want to see from us next. So thank you. Let me know if you want to be a guest, and just happy Friday, everybody.
Yeah.
Woo!
Thank you, Juliana, for starting this. This is your 6th session or interview.
Yes.
And I got to tell you, when I heard of it, I wanted to jump on that bandwagon so bad and so fast. Thank you for not charging me for it. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure.
But I got to tell you, this is brilliant. I cannot wait to hear that you have like 1 million viewers. And thank you for doing it, because I think a lot of people are really feeling the COVID blues. And it's quite sad. So this is a great thing that you're doing. So thank you from my bottom of my heart.
Thank you. Thank you. And you brought me joy tonight. I really enjoyed this. I actually, it actually hurts a little bit here from smiling so much.
That's great. I'm glad. Me too. Me too.
Good.
Okay, so tell your husband I want to jam with him when COVID's over.
I will. You can pick which guitar. He's starting to collect them at this point because he's.
I got 9. Don't worry.
Yeah. Oh, perfect.
Nothing's less than $1,200. So.
Yeah, there we go.
And four amplifiers.
Always in there.
Get turned on. It's all good.
Sounds great. All right. Well.
Thank you. Thank you to the viewers again.
And to Connections. Thank you so much. Have a great night, everyone. Bye-bye.